guys, what's going on? I'm pretty excited to be here today because I'm finally doing another book haul. This is one of my favorite types of videos to do because who doesn't like sharing all the books that they have added to their bookshelves? My book haul shelf is completely full right now. I left this book haul video off for a little bit too long, and so I have quite a few books to talk about today, so I might not be able to go into detail about all of them and what they're about, but we'll power through and see what we can do for you. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I had a couple books given to me this month, or over the last few months, by some lovely people in my life. The first one is actually the very first book that I got in this haul, and that is Here There Be Dragons by James A. Owen, and this is the first book in the Chronicles of the Imaginarium Geographica. This series I sort of got a little snippet of when Wade let me read the book that he was reading at one of our play practices, and it wasn't this one, but I just read the intro to one of the other books in the series, and both the writing and the concept of the book sounded really, really good and really interesting to me. It's obviously a fantasy series, and I don't read a ton of fantasy, but I feel like I'll really, really like this one because the writing and the concept just really drew me in. So I'm really excited to get to this eventually, and thank you so much, Wade, for thinking of me and buying me this book. The second book that I got given to me was actually a wedding gift from one of my best friends, Kirsty. You may know her from the Broken Book Club. We're always chatting up about books and stuff, so it's fitting that she got me a book as a wedding gift, and that was The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. This is the second book in the Fifth Wave series. I listened to the Fifth Wave on audiobook, really enjoyed it, and unfortunately I still don't have a hard copy of the first book in the series, but I will definitely have to pick one up now that she got me the second, and so I'm definitely really excited to dive into this one. I really appreciate that there was really good strategy behind the alien attack, so that's what I really appreciate about this series, and so I'm really excited to continue with it. Alright, so me and Mitch got the privilege of going to Costa Rica for our honeymoon, and of course we had to go visit a bookstore there. The first book that I got in Costa Rica was White Oleander by Janet Fitch, and this one, it seems like it was probably a popular book at one time or another. It was part of Oprah's book club, so if that tells you anything. The concept of it really intrigued me. It's about a girl who basically goes from foster home to foster home. I guess she grew up with a mom who murdered someone, and then so she ended up in the foster system, and it's kind of like, yeah, just a story of all like the good, the bad, and the ugly of the foster system. I have a feeling that this book will be very emotional and hard to read at times. The second book I got in Costa Rica is called A Lady Cyclist's Guide to Kashgar, and I sort of picked this one up initially because the cover is kind of cute. It has purple font and a lady with a bicycle, so it drew me in just by the cover, but it also sounds pretty interesting. It sort of looks at a bunch of different ladies' lives all over the world, like one's a missionary in Africa or something, and one lady lives in England, and so it kind of looks at all the different traditions all over the world, and you see them coming together, is what I can gather about this book. So it sounds like an interesting read, and I don't know when I'll get to it, but hopefully soon. Alright, so the next few books I'm going to show you, I got it all discounted prices, and that is awesome because I am broke. I've found some on Virage online. I've found some, there's a house that has one of those cute little like personal libraries out front where you can take one and leave one like right on my street, which is so awesome. And then I got a couple on Book Outlet as well. So the first one I found in that little library by my house is The Husband by Dean Koontz. I've read 3 of his novels and I was never really like super into them, but I want to give him more chances for some reason. I don't know why. I thought I might as well give it a shot since it was free and it was sitting there. Why not? Another book I got from that little library is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden, and this is a pretty well-known book. It's just obviously some memoirs of a geisha in Japan. Everyone seems to know it exists, but I don't actually know any specific details about it, but since it was sitting there, I figured I might as well give it a try and give it a read. I've heard lots of good things about it, lots of bad things. One more book that I got at that little library I'm actually kind of pumped about is Paper Towns by John Green. And this book, when I read it, some of you may have watched the review show that I did with my friend Brittany. We weren't super huge fans of it at the beginning of the review show, but by the end of the review show, after chatting about the themes and kind of figuring out what he was really trying to say, I had a better perspective of the book. So it turned out to be one of those books that I enjoyed, but I wouldn't necessarily buy for myself. So when I saw it sitting there for free, I was pretty pumped. Maybe I'll give it another try someday because I have a different perspective on it now, so reading it a second time through might be a better experience. So I got a few books off Virage just from people around my city trying to sell them. The first one I have to show you is Life of Pi by Yann Martel. I listened to this one on audiobook a few months back, maybe a year or so, and I enjoyed it, but I would like to read the hard copy because Yann Martel's concepts are just so abstract and symbolic sometimes that I think I just need to stop going with the temptation to listen to him on audiobook because I just miss too many important details and too many undertones. So I wouldn't mind rereading this book in hard copy, and I'm pretty pumped that I got it for very cheap off Virage sale. So that's sweet. Another book that I got off Virage sale is The Help by Kathryn Stockett, and I wanted to read this book for a long time. I'm actually pretty pumped about this find because this has been a book on my TBR that I haven't actually got my hands on yet up until now. So I have a feeling that I'm going to dive right into this one. The last book is sort of that I got off Virage sale, sort of an interesting one. It's called Feed by Mira Grant. And this is obviously a zombie novel, but the reason I went for this one was because the day before I saw it pop up on Virage, I was just reading a list of books that were sure to make you cry, and for some reason this one was on there. So I'm interested to read it and see what I think of it. I've actually never read a zombie novel before, but my first expectation wouldn't be that it's going to make me cry. So I'm really interested to get into this one and see if it does what I had been promised it would do. And the last ones I got off Virage sale, I'm also pretty pumped about because they're I've been wanting to read them, I'm interested by them, and they're in really good condition. It's The Beautiful Creatures and Beautiful Darkness. This is book 1 and 2 in the Castor Chronicles. That's what the series is called. And I don't actually really know what these are about, but I've heard a lot of good things from a lot of people in person and on BookTube as well. And the covers are really nice. I'm really drawn in by the covers as well. The last book that I got for cheap within the last few months is City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. And I'm slowly picking away at getting all the books in the Mortal Instruments series. This is a series that I'm trying really hard to just control myself and only buy them when I find them, like on Virage sale or on Book Outlet or things like that, so that I'm not paying like $1 million for this whole set. But so far, I've got mostly all of them. I think I only need one more. I think I only need the first one, and hopefully I can find it. I just cannot find the hardcover of the first one anywhere. I know that I am so late on the train with this one, and I want to dive into it as soon as possible, so I need to find this book. And so unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you view it, I made quite a few splurge purchases within the last few months. Can't help it. I go to the store and these books just look so beautiful and I need to buy them and I'm addicted. What can I say? But the first book that I picked up in this category is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. And I had this book already, except I got that one from the thrift store and it was in like terrible condition, and then I read the book and I bawled my eyes out and it tore me to pieces, and so I was like, this book killed me and therefore I'm going to buy a nice version of it. The next book that I picked up is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. And I'm currently listening to this book on audiobook. And again, it's one of those books I almost wish that I was reading on hard copy, but I'm following it pretty well, and I am loving it so far. I'm really seeing how much I'm like really just developing a love for historical fiction, and the characters in this book are just so wonderful to read about. Another book that I picked up is Glass Sword by Victoria Bayard, and this is the sequel to Red Queen. I really feel like I need to just do a series finishing TBR and just like finish all the series that I have in limbo right now, because there's a lot of them and I just need to continue them. I need to get them done because there's so many that were good, but for some reason I just haven't been able to pick up again yet. I haven't had time, so maybe I'll do that, and this book will definitely be on there. Another book that I picked up is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I bought this one because my book club studied it. This book was actually really good. It was really well written. The experience you had with the character, with the main character, was just really touching. And so I would recommend this one. If you guys are interested in joining our book club, you can just follow the link down below to the Goodreads page for the Broken Book Club. And this month we are reading The Double by José Saramago. Oh my goodness. So this book that I picked up, wow, it's Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. And I listened to this book on audiobook this month. I just finished it like last week, and it was probably the easiest listen I've ever had on audiobook because the characters were just so enthralling. The voice actors also had fantastic British accents. So like, what is there to not like about this audiobook? It was just like so good. This book is about a girl. She's 26 years old. She loses her job and she ends up getting a job helping out with a quadriplegic. And just the story of what they go through and the friendship that develops and everything, it's just good. It's just well written. The characters are well developed. You're emotionally invested. This book has a lot of hype surrounding it, but it's all worth it. I'm also super pumped about this one that I got. This is the reason I went to the store, 2 chapters, this last time. This was the book the whole trip centered around. That is The Winner's Kiss by Marie Rudkowski, and this one is the 3rd one in the Winner's Kiss trilogy, and this one came out, I think it might have came out like a couple months ago, and I've just got around to getting it now. The Winner's Curse trilogy is one of my favorite series. I wouldn't mind rereading the series, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that. I might just have to plunge into this one and hope that I sort of reorient myself with the situation and all the characters and everything. But honestly, I wouldn't mind marathoning the series and just rereading it to catch myself up, because honestly, it's just so good and I wouldn't regret rereading them at all. The next book I picked up, we got out of the discount section at Chapters again, so yay for finding discounts. This was The Secret of Raven Point by Jennifer Vanderbaes, and I picked this one up because it sounds really interesting to me. I'm really interested in war novels right now. I haven't read a lot of them, but for some reason I just really feel like reading a war novel. And so this one is about a girl named Juliet who finds out that her brother, who is enlisted in the army, he is missing in action. She lies about her age and travels to the front lines as an army nurse to find him. So I mean, all sorts of things could go on with that. I'm basically pumped about all of these books that I picked up this last time I went to Chapters, but so there's really no need to say it every time, but I am really pumped about this next book. It's Illuminated by Amie Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and this is the first book in the Illuminated files, and I have been wanting to pick up this book for a long time because I've heard so many good things about it on BookTube, and also because it's one of those books that I just love. I cannot resist novels that are like this. I'm gonna try and show you, but this light is like super bright. When books are just formatted creatively like this, let me see if I can find some pages. Yeah, they're just like really different. They're laid out creatively and it makes it into an art experience instead of just a literary experience. I have a weak spot for books like this. So I think I'm going to be throwing this one on next month's TBR because I'm just dying to get into it. Like, I have to. Right away, I have to. And I'm pretty sure that the next book, the second book in the series, just came out as well. So I'll probably have to swing by and pick that one up too, providing I like this one, of course, but why wouldn't I? So, another book that I picked up at Chapters the other day is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the book following A Court of Thorns and Roses. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses a few months back, and I feel like it was one of those books that was a little overhyped for me. I was expecting to really love it because everyone was just like so pumped about it. They were like, this is my favorite book. I powered through it. The characters, everything was just so good. People were like raving about it. And so I thought I was really going to love it. And for some reason, something about it just fell flat for me. And I don't even know if I could put my finger on what exactly that was. But yeah, I just didn't connect really well. Maybe it was the season I was going through. Maybe I was going through a little bit of a book slump, a reading slump. However, I liked the book enough to know that I was going to continue the series, and so here I am with the second book. And I am going to read this one soon. Again, I think I want to do a series finishing TBR, and if that's the case, this would definitely be on it. I'm definitely interested to continue this and see what happens, and maybe I'll like the second book better. You never know. Okay, and I have one book left to show you guys in this amazingly humongous book haul. And it's kind of a fun one, and I'm super pumped about it, but it's The Jungle Book, and this is a very special copy of The Jungle Book because you might remember if you watched my Europe book haul, I got Peter Pan in this little formatted series, and now I have The Jungle Book, and look how beautiful they look together. They match, and they're just so beautiful, and I'm so pumped about it. But what is cool about these books is that they are interactive. So there's interactive elements in the books that sort of just give you that extra experience, and you can go through, and it's illustrated, and then you can also like do these fun little quirky things throughout the books. Okay, so that is it for my book haul. I'm not really sure what to call this book haul because it's spanned over the last few months, this crazy big book haul, and I don't even know how many books I got. Why don't I give it a count? I got 23 books in total, and that is a lot of books. Whoa. But considering I didn't get them all at once, I need to be better at doing my book hauls, you know, when I have less books to put on the haul, because I can't even fit all the books into the frame to take a good thumbnail. But yeah, so if you guys have read any of these books or have thoughts on them, give me a comment down below or give me a shout out on Twitter. I'm always open to discussion, but try not to spoil the books that I haven't read yet. You can catch me on my brand new Broken Bookshelf Instagram page. I thought it was finally time to make a specific one for that, so you can find that link down below. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this crazy big book haul video, guys, and we will see you next time. Bye! Them on my TBR as soon as I possibly could, because I mean, I've heard such good things about this series, and also the covers are just unreal. It's got kind of like a mystery. Had a major problem with in the text of the writing, and I think I understand the point of it, but both of us just like hated this about reading this book, and that was like the sections where he would spend like